Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have an article here about my favorite Prime Minister, and that is not Boris Johnson, but it is Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban. And this article comes from Republic World from today, July 29, 2022. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban says Ukraine cannot defeat Russia with NATO's current strategy. I don't know, this Orban is asking for it. And it is a regime change, a little revolution in his country. We'll see. Even though he is very popular, you always have cells, not cells here, but cells in each and every country. They have it and they just activate them. I don't know how dissatisfied the Hungarian population is with their standard of living in order to be able to start this little revolution. All right, so the Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, told the media on Thursday that Ukraine cannot defeat Russia in the conflict with NATO's present assistance plan. All right, let's see what he suggests. Ukraine cannot defeat Russia in the conflict with NATO's present assistance plan, and further warned of severe economic repercussions, asserted the Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, speaking at a press conference alongside Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer in Vienna. Only gonna unite now? Orban said, and I'm quoting, "This war in this form cannot be won." So this war in this form cannot be won. CNN reported. He also added that the strategies of NATO nations of aiding war-torn Ukraine with weapons and training, and I'm quoting, has shown until now that it will not lead to success, end quote. He stressed that European Union must change their strategy in order to cope with the Russia-Ukraine conflict and put more emphasis on peace negotiations and the creation of peace proposals than on victory. The Hungarian Prime Minister noted, and I'm quoting, "There will be no peace without a change of strategy. We cannot solve any problem without peace." Well, you know how these are just hollow words. And we cannot solve any problem without peace. Okay, Anadolu agency reported. He even warned that the EU would experience a war economy if peacekeeping measures are not taken. He highlighted that an economic slump would result in higher unemployment rates and major issues with both economic and political stability. He added that, and I'm quoting, "It is not clear how we can avoid recession in the EU if the war carries on," CNN reported. I think he's 100% right. "Sanctions cannot be used to undermine Moscow's stability," Hungarian Prime Minister said. The Prime Minister further added that the sanctions cannot be used to undermine Moscow's stability. Orban remarked that it is not a wise course of action to believe that the EU would retain political stability while avoiding economic difficulties in spite of the sanctions, as per a report from Anadolu agency. Apart from this, both leaders cautioned against the potential for a Russian gas embargo by the European Union. Orban stated, and I'm quoting, "We met a wall just now, and that wall is called a gas embargo. And I would suggest to the EU that we do not knock against that wall," while Nehammer stressed that such an embargo is not possible. So Nehammer, that's the Austrian counterpart, described the fact that not only Hungary and Austria depend on Russian gas, but German industry is also dependent on Russian gas. He further said that if the German sector crashes, the Austrian industry would follow suit, which might lead to mass unemployment. How is that? Yeah, you don't own anything, but you're happy. Meanwhile, earlier, Prime Minister Viktor Orban called for peace negotiations between the United States and Russia. He knows exactly who's who and what's what, not Ukraine and Russia, in an effort to put an end to the conflict in Ukraine. Did you hear that? Orban called for peace negotiations between the United States and Russia in an effort to put an end to the conflict in Ukraine. Not between the Russians and Ukrainians, Russians and Americans. He targeted the European Union at a speech in Romania for the bloc's strong stance to cope with Russia-Ukraine war, as per media reports. So what do you think? Is he right? I always mention this thing with the peace, because everybody talks about peace. Yeah, I like peace, I want peace, let's make peace, That's not a problem. We all like to be, as I said, in peace. The circumstances, the conditions of the peace, that's what keeps us not be at peace with one another. Because I want this, you want that. We can't both have these glasses. We can share them, but it's not like that. I want it and it's going to be mine. And if you, try to get it, we're at war, and I'm going to blame you for not wanting to have peace. Because I took them from you. Now they're mine, and you wanted to get them back? That means war. So that means we're going to fight. You don't like peace. That's how the way it works. And I'm going to blame you that you are not a peace-loving person, because you want this, that I wanted too. So it's the terms of the peace that keep us at war. The same here in Ukraine. The terms are the ones that make them fight. Otherwise, everybody would be happy. But we want things, and when we want things, we try to get them with different means, and then the ultimate mean is violence. We are animals. That's what we are. We try sneaky stuff, loving stuff. Then you try all kind of manipulation. Doesn't work. Then you start with blackmail. You start with threats, and then obviously it's going to end up with fighting. And then what are you going to say? You don't like peace. You don't like peace. So I think that he pointed out correctly that it's between the United States and Russia. It's not between Ukraine and Russia. We all knew that. It's not like but to say it like that, you don't really hear countries in Europe, calling out the boss just like that. And what surprises me, and I'm telling you, Hungary has about 10 million population. I don't know if it has 11 or 9, I can't remember. It's like about around 10. Even if it's 15, it's still a small country. It's landlocked, doesn't have access to, the only thing it has the Danube River, which has to ask permission if it goes down the pipe, right? It doesn't have access to, it doesn't have access to a sea. Hungary is poor in natural resources. What do they have? Grain in the Pannonia. What do they have? Fish in the Balaton Lake. What do they have? So not like that, but you can say, well, it doesn't matter, because you see Switzerland again. Doesn't this, but it's a rich country. I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't know what aces Hungary has in its sleeve to play. And I'm surprised that this is the 4th term Viktor Orban is, completing, or maybe he's going to complete. He completed 3, this is the 4th one. And he's still there. But but I think he was always like this, feisty. Not always, but I think in the past 6 years, 7 years, I heard him being, saying certain things, and I'm like, oh my, look at this guy. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.